Hi guys, I'm here to talk about markers and pens. So this first one is my go-to marker for almost everything. I use this for outlining and for journaling and drawing and all kinds of stuff. Not that I do all that much drawing, but I use it for almost everything. It's the Zig Writer pen. It has a few features that make it my favorite. First, it has two ends. So this end here that has texture is the fine point end. It looks like that. And it's 0.5 millimeters. And then the other end that has just the smooth barrel has the bullet point. And it's good for making bold. This end here, the fine end, is really good for journaling and outlining and all sorts of things. And this one here is good for making bold outlines and for some heavier lettering work that I do usually in my art journal. But so I'll show you what it looks like when you write with it. Actually, I'm going to show you one of the best features of the Zig pen is that you know, when you're writing in journaling spots and you're trying to space out and plan your writing, it's a good idea to do your writing in pencil first, right? So I'm going to put just a phrase here. I'm not even sure if you can see that. So I've just put my phrase in pencil, and now I'm going to go over it in marker. And it's a good idea to do this ahead of time so that you can kind of, especially when you're using, as I mentioned, journaling spots and stuff, so you know how big you need to make your letters. So that's what it looks like, and you can see that you can still see the pencil marks, right? And what I love about the Zig pen is that you can take a white eraser and just go over what you just wrote, and I didn't even wait very long. Like, you don't really need to wait for it to dry or anything. Just go over it fairly lightly, but you know, enough to get rid of the pencil marks. And it didn't smudge and it didn't fade. It's perfect, as if I didn't put those pencil marks there to begin with. So there might be other markers that are as good at this, but I haven't been able to find them. So once I found that the Zig marker was good for that, I stuck with it. So that's why I use that, and I'll just show you the broad tip just in case. It's a little bit harder, of course. So that's the broad tip comparison. So quite a bit of a difference, but it's nice for, you know, like outlining the edges of things, especially if you're looking for a bolder look, right? So that's the Zig Writer. I have one in black and I have one in brown, just because those, you know, it's good to have, you know, I have black shoes and brown shoes, so I need black markers and brown markers. I also have this platinum one. I think it's called platinum, yeah. It's gray. It's the exact same marker, but it's a light gray color. And what I use that for, I don't use it very often, but what I sometimes use it for is I'll just kind of go under and to the side of my letters just to add a little bit of depth to them. I'm not very careful about it. I'm not, there's probably a technique, you know, you gotta think about where the light is and where the shadow would be and whatever, but I don't spend a whole lot of effort trying to figure out how to do it. I just do my best and try to hope that it looks okay. So that's what it looks like. It's kind of subtle, but it does add just a little bit of depth that makes your letters look like they're kind of floating on the page a little bit, and I guess it kind of anchors them or something. I don't do that very often, but I do it on some projects. So there's the word around doesn't have the gray, and up to the A, I think I did the T, yeah, up to the T of the what has the gray shading. So those are my Zig Writers. They're my very favorite. I probably use between this and this, I probably do 90% of my outlining and journaling with these two pens. So if you're going to get one, I'd get this. If you're going to get two, I'd get these two. This one is a bit of a, you know, that one's just extra. So those are Zig. If I were to choose my next favorite pens that I couldn't live without, it would be these two pens. This one is Staedtler lumocolor, which is a permanent pen. I used to use these in my undergrad for doing overheads. I used to do labs in neuropsychology, and I used to have to draw out, like trace out brain and then color the different sections of the brain different colors according to the functions and so on. And I had a set of these Staedtler lumocolors, and I fell in love with them because they're just so great for marking on transparencies, which translates into the scrapbooking world, acetate. So this is a piece of acetate that I got. It's just from packaging. But if you were to buy the craft plastic or whatever, it works exactly the same. And so, you know, if I wanted to turn this into a, oops, of course going off the page doesn't help, but you know, I could outline this and do some journaling on it. Like so. And what's awesome about this is that I can, you know, even though I just did it, it dries very, very quickly. So didn't smudge at all. Dries very quickly. It sticks to any glossy surface. You can use this marker on glass, on acetate. One thing that I find really challenging is a lot of journaling pieces that are out there that you buy already made in packages or whatever. This is a chipboard R, but a lot of times they're on this kind of chipboard that has this glossy surface. I don't know if the light is catching that, but yeah, see how that's a really glossy surface. And a lot of times when you have chipboard pieces that you want to do some journaling on, or even some outlining, it's really hard. If I were to use my Zig pen on this, it would, A, it doesn't show up very well, and B, I can wipe it off with my finger like this. And it would not dry. Like, I could wait forever and that wouldn't dry. I could try to heat set it or anything and it won't stick. So I take my lumocolor and I can easily outline this. It shows up and it is dry as soon as I do it. So it didn't smudge at all, even though I just ran my fingers over it right after I drew it. So I could outline this R in this lumocolor really easily, and the same with those journaling strips that have a shiny surface to them. You can journal on them with one of these markers. And these come in different widths. I have a medium and a fine. The medium is quite a thick. It's also kind of worn out, but compared to the fine, and it probably comes in super fine as well, I don't know, although this is fairly fine. Yeah, so lumocolor, awesome. Another, so my first favorite is Zig Writers. My second is lumocolor in the fine point. My third favorite marker is this Prismacolor Premier, and I mean, it's a great marker. But what I love about it more than the brand is that it's 0.05, and I just was looking for a 0.05 of any brand. I just wanted a really, really fine tipped marker. And so I will show you what this looks like compared to the other ones. So that's how that turns out. And so that's the 0.05 Prismacolor Premier marker, and it's called a fine line marker. It's archival quality, acid-free, and light-fast according to the label on it. So I use this for tiny things that I want to outline, like if I've cut out some really small journaling strips and I want to outline them, instead of using one of these thicker markers, I'll use this just so that it doesn't, I have lots of space still left to do my journaling or whatever. And it's also really great for filling in misstamped images where, you know, you might have stamped and part of it didn't, the image didn't kind of get on the paper, and so you can come back with this because it's so fine and just kind of fill in the missing parts of your stamped image. So it's really great for that as well. So my top 3 would be Zig, and then lumocolor by Stettler, and then any brand of 0.05 marker is really good to have. They're hard to find, but if you have an art store near you, or you can probably order them at an art store, they're really great to have. The next kind of marker that I like to have that's kind of really, I couldn't live without these ones, but you know, I got some more. So my next kind of, these would be extra markers, and I got these more for art journaling than anything else, is I got these Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens. I got a set of them, and they come in brush point, super fine, medium, and fine. And I'll just show you how they compare to the other ones. So I'll start with the brush point. So the brush tip looks like this, and it's got a little bit of give to it, so it's not really great for lettering, but it is pretty good for outlining things. So that's the brush point. Then the medium point, it has this kind of a tip. And what I really love about these Pitt pens is they're India ink and they're permanent and they mark over anything. So if I had dried paint on this and I were kind of outlining, I would go up over the paint and it would continue to write over paint, over glimmer mist, over anything that I've come across. These pens will write on it, and they write as smoothly on other things as they do on the paper. So that's the medium point. And then here's the fine point. Again, all of these points are this kind. It's kind of like a little metal with a little nub. So there's the fine point. And then the last 3 will be the super fine. And the thing that I like about these is that if you go slow, they are a bit thicker. And if you go fast, they're thinner. I do all my outlining as fast as I can because A, I don't want to spend much time on it, and B, I like the look of fast lines. So these, and then, yeah, I don't even really want to talk about these because these are pigment liners. So they're a lot like these, but the Zig pens, but they have the same points that the Pitt pens have, but they're not India ink, they're pigment inks. And what I like about these is that they have the different widths, which is really great for lining, right? Because you've got 0.7, 0.5, 0.3, and 0.1. And then if you add to that your 0.05, that's really all the widths that you could ever want for scrapbooking purposes. And these are Stettler pigment liners. I got these a long time ago, but I've abandoned them in favor of my Pitt pens because the Pitt pens mark over anything, whereas these are a little fussier. They're fine for paper, but if you've got any mixed media, they're not going to be as good. So great for journaling and general scrapbooking use, but even glimmer mist, these won't really write over, so they're not as good of a multi-purpose pen. So these ones are better for that. Then another pen that you might see me using sometimes in my videos is this Touch by Shin Art. These are kind of like a cheap version of Copic markers. They're alcohol markers. They don't have a brush point. They have a fine tip, which is not, it doesn't have the same give to it that the Copic markers have. So it's not quite as nice for blending, but it is quite a bit less expensive than the Copic markers. So these are really good alternative, I guess, but you do have to work a bit harder to blend them in terms of coloring. But I have the black one. I have a number of them, but I put the black one in with my scrapbooking stuff because it also does a really good job on the shiny surfaces. So I can, for example, line this, and it is a little, oh, it's disappearing. I can't line that. Huh. But I can mark, oh, that's funny. I've never tried to use this on shiny chipboard. I guess you can't, but you can use it on any kind of, you can use these on glass and on acetate, but that's kind of interesting that the alcohol markers don't stick as well to the, so there's the line that I made and it wiped right off, but it sticks really well to acetate. So these I use more in art journaling and stuff, but sometimes if I'm grabbing for this and I want a thicker line because my, I'll just grab this one instead. So it just kind of, these two are a little bit interchangeable, although now I'm learning that when it comes to shiny chipboard, not so much. So there. And then the other thing that I wanted to just touch really quickly on is white markers. So of course the Uniball gel roller, which I keep right here, which is by Signo. So there's what it looks like. You can get this at Michael's and a number of different places. I think Stampin' Up! Sells one as well, but that's the same Signo brand. Is the best one that I've come across. And when you're looking for a gel pen, mine is running out a little bit. The slower you go, the better it is. So you'll see when I mark really fast, you get streaks in it, but when I go slower, you don't. So there's the fast, vest, which is not a word. I was trying to say the best. And then that's slow. So the best is written in slow. So that's quite a big difference. If you take your time, you'll get a much nicer coverage for your gel pen. The Signo Uniball gel roller is probably the best white pen that I've found. There are a couple of other white gel pens out there that I have tried, including the American Crafts one. I didn't have as much luck. I found the American Crafts one kind of sunk into the paper a little bit, and so the white, it would look really white when you first put it on, but as it dried it would get lighter and lighter. So I keep going back to this Uniball by Signo. In my efforts to find a good gel pen, I also came across this Galaxy marker, which is Milky Way white. And it's by American Crafts, and it has kind of a cool look. It kind of sinks into the paper to make like a gray look. So it's not at all the same as the gel pen, but it is kind of a nice, cool look. And I do use it sometimes to outline things. So if I'll have chipboard letters or something on a dark surface, I might go around them with this, like that, to kind of emphasize them, but without having the harshness of the gel pen. So that's a good white pen. What other white things have I come across? Yes, so these paint pens by Sharpie. Everybody loves their paint pens, and I have some upstairs that we used for my daughter's rain boots, which were great. But I find the thing with the paint pens is that they don't write all that smooth. Firstly, they smell really, really bad. And I can't get a good, at least not on black paper, they're kind of messy. It's hard to get a good, consistent long stroke. I don't know if I'm using them wrong, but no matter what I do, I kind of get a lot of this disappearing kind of stuff going on. And I think that these are really better for shiny surfaces, from what I remember, because we did use them on my daughter's boots, right? But I'm pretty sure that I've seen other people use paint pens on paper. Maybe they put some type of, maybe they were glossy paper. Maybe it was glossy paper, I don't know. But see, they do work really great on a glossy surface. They were awesome on my daughter's rain boots. They were really, really cool. We all kind of colored them in and did a lot of kind of cool designs and stuff. It's great for coloring because you can just kind of press it and get a lot of ink and then spread it out, kind of like this. Oh, it's very stinky though. And then if you just want to write, then you just don't press it like that and just do your writing. So, okay, so these are paint pens. I guess I don't use enough glossy surfaces to really kind of make good use of these, but they come in 2 different points, although it looks like they write about the same. In theory, they're 2 different points, broad and fine, but they seem to come out almost the same on the paper. So that's another option for white if you're dealing with glossy surfaces, but if you're dealing with paper surfaces, it doesn't come out so great. Whew, that's very smelly. I gotta remove that. Another thing that I do that I can't demonstrate for you today because it's not working very well is I use this liquid paper correction pen sometimes for white. I can't demonstrate it because although there's plenty of fluid in this, I find that these you really do have to replace often if you want a nice smooth line. But when this is new, it's really great for cursive. When this is new, it's a great kind of writer marker. But as soon as, I've had this for a year, so it's not really flowing very smoothly anymore. In fact, it's not flowing at all. Yeah, it's not flowing at all. But yeah, it does write nice when it's brand new. You'll have to trust me. But they're, you know, $3 or $4, and so to have to replace it every, before it's even gone, there's plenty in here. I don't know if it's really worth it when the Signo gel writer works so well, but I guess in a pinch, if you have one of these around, you could do some writing with it as well. And of course, I do this a lot more in my art journal, but occasionally on scrapbooking pages, I will make some journaling lines, like with this correction tape, and then you can use your Zig pen to do some journaling. And it comes out like that. It looks really nice on a bright or dark surface. So those are my favorite pens. Just to summarize, the Zig Writer is my very favorite, followed by the lumocolor, the Stettler lumocolor, and then any brand of a .05 pen, but I use the Prismacolor Premier. So those are my favorites. And then the Pitt pens, of course, are great because they're India ink and they go over almost any surface. So if you're doing a lot of mixed media, or even just glimmer mist and paint on your projects, these are really good options for you as well. So hope you enjoyed. Oh, and of course my Uniball gel pen by Signo is awesome. Another one of my can't live without markers that I just forgot about because it's white. So thanks so much for watching. If you have anything to add, any comments or suggestions for markers that work really well for you in different settings, just let me know in the comments section, because I only know the things that I've tried, and there might be lots of other markers out there that work really great for outlining and journaling and scrapbooking purposes. So just give me a comment if you've got anything to add to this, and talk to you later.